We're here again trying to defend DACA. It's really interesting because Trump pardoned Sheriff Gerald Arpaio 10 days ago, and within a 10-day span, he's not only done a ceremonial thing, which is essentially pardon someone who had been ravaging workers' rights or Latino rights for a really long time, but he's actually set them back entirely by saying maybe 800,000 immigrants cannot stay in the country. Can you talk about what that pattern is, why maybe he's going through with that? Because it seems like as he's gotten less and less popular, he's shrunk more and more into his racist base.
Yeah, I wish I could say that there was some really easy reason for why he's doing this other than to please his base. What's clear to me is that he's further dividing the country and really making a lot of people who are really an essential part of the fabric of the country really vulnerable.
When the announcement today said that they were going to wind down the program to cause as minimal disruption as possible, that is a falsehood. That language doesn't mean anything. If you are an immigration attorney, you know that there is no winding down. These people have deferred action status and they have employment authorization cards. And what this program does is it takes away their deferred action status and it takes away their employment authorization cards, and it makes them vulnerable to be deported and separated from their families. And that's not something New Yorkers are going to stand for.
To me, this issue is extremely important. These are people that came to America by no fault of their own. They were brought here by their parents. They don't have criminal records. Most of them, America is the only country they have ever known, and there's absolutely no reason under the sun that they should be deported from this country or lose this little bit of status that they have. And they also relied on the government when they came forward out of the shadows and decided to disclose who they were. And they did that because the government told them they were going to protect it. So this is just a huge slap in the face to all those people that came out, that disclosed their information to the government, and now are sitting at home or maybe even here wondering whether or not they're going to get deported back to a country that they've never known their whole life. This is the only country they've ever known. It's despicable. Donald Trump is despicable, and I just can't express enough how disheartening and upset this makes me.
In terms of alienating a large section of this country by basically saying 800,000 people, you don't matter to me, I'm going to kick you out of the country. We now have to rely on the Republican Party in the House and in the Senate to come up with the DREAM Act, which they wouldn't do under President Obama. What's your hope like for that going forward?
You know, there's already legislation that's proposed in Congress. It's under the Bridge Act. If the Bridge Act's passed, it would provide a huge benefit to people across this country and providing them with stability and surety about their status. This is not about allowing people to break the law. This is about, we had a program that allowed 800,000 people to come forward, provide all of their documents, prove that they had never been convicted of serious crimes, and now all those people are completely vulnerable. And so my hope is that the Bridge Act will give those people some security and some stability and allow them to just continue on their lives instead of living in fear the way that today has caused everyone to experience.
I think we came out here because as people who practice immigration law and work with young people, I'm sure Terry got a bunch of calls today, and I got a bunch of calls today from young people who are terrified. And again, these are young people who grew up in the United States, came over as children, for whom English is their first language, for whom the idea of going back to a country that they've never known is something that's sort of even beyond their imagination. So not only is this decision cruel, it really functions only to divide the country. And so again, day to day, what we're hearing is that there are young people who are really feeling really unsure about what their status is in the United States. And whereas, around the time of the inauguration, President Trump said that, sort of people who have DACA should rest easily. What we've known time and time again is that no one can rest easily in this political environment where young people's rights are under attack, immigrants' rights are under attack, people of color have their rights under attack. And at these intersections, rallies like this are to bring people together to say that there's actually an active resistance of people who can identify across these places of identity and want to, come up with better solutions than are currently available now.
Well, I think 97% or something like that are either in school or employed. And even back in February, Trump said, hey, they're contributing to the economy. So it doesn't really make sense, except for the fact, in my opinion, that he's a bit cornered right now. What do you have to say to that?
Right. So, I agree with that. I think it's sort of two things. One, Donald Trump's a liar and a hypocrite, which we all know, and we have known for a long time. And number two, he's being pressured by people that are telling him him that he should take this action, specifically people like Jeff Sessions and other people that are, for lack of a better term, or actually are white nationalists that are telling him to take these actions. And he can say that the reason he's doing this is because Obama did this by executive action and he wants Congress to pass a law, but he damn well knows that Congress is completely dysfunctional, that they can't pass anything. We saw that through the failure of them to repeal health care, which thank God was actually worked out good for us.
I think that there were prosecutors and states attorney generals, that's the word I was looking for, states attorney generals who were threatening that if he didn't do something by today, they would add DACA into this litigation that they already have pending in Texas. That is a very weak threat to add them to a litigation, because the court has to act to decide whether they think DACA is unlawful. And that is not something that is by all means for certain. So the language that is used to say, I had to act today is not true to what the actual facts are.
Yeah, because I believe is it 5 states, including Texas, that are in this suit? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but it's not like Trump has ever cared about abiding the law before, so it seems almost kind of like an excuse to just do what he already wanted to do anyway, does it not?
I mean, I can't speak for his intentions. All I can do is hope that Congress will act, and they will act quickly, and that they will protect these young people.